Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a build for the Phantom Rogue in Baldur's Gate 3. This is part of the Book of Rogues 5e Rogue Subclasses mod by IncogneatoBurrito. This is a fun subclass here, focusing on having an extra attack that it can do after doing its sneak attack. So you get the Whales from the Grave. I'll be breaking down all the best choices for gear as well as a combat showcase in this video. So first off, starting with the Rogue. Now we can roll with a stat spread of something like this. Going with 16 dexterity will give us our weapon attack rolls and initiative. 16 constitution gives us a good survivability. I like to go with 14 wisdom because wisdom saves are important. However, you can put those points into strength if you do prefer. It's just good to have some saves here. If you're the face of the party, you can put your skill proficiencies into persuasion or deception, depending if you're doing a good or evil playthrough. And into level 2, we are going to get our bonus action abilities here, which are just great to have. Versatility, that's really the rogue's thing. Level 3 gives us our subclass here. We're gonna go with the Phantom. So subclass feature Whales from the Grave. After you use your sneak attack against a target, you can immediately deal extra necrotic damage to another target within 9 meters of the first. This damage equals half of your sneak attack bonus die. So however much die you get from sneak attack, it's going to do half of that to a nearby enemy, and it's necrotic damage, so if they do have resistances, that's something to keep in mind. So Act 2, this may have a little bit of a harder time. You also do have Wailing Soul charges here, which allows you to feel these. And we have the Whispers from the Dead, so this will last until long rest and allows you to get proficiency in all skills of a chosen ability. This kind of gives us some out of combat versatility, again, one of the nice skills, similar to the kind of like the knowledge domain. So we also then have our Whales from the Grave there, which we can use, and just a nice extra way to spread a bit of damage around. Level 4 gives us our first feat. Getting the alert feat is nice, giving us an initiative boost is super useful in the early game. But I also like Savage Attacker a lot on if you're going to be rolling with a rogue, because this can reroll our damage dice and it rerolls our sneak attack die. We could also go with an improvement to dexterity, and if you got the hags here, you could have taken your dexterity up to 17. I should have mentioned that. Some people like the hags here, you can use it, it's good. Level 5 here gives us our uncanny dodge, so we can use our reaction to reduce the damage of an attack. Kind of a useful ability. The rogue's good survivability is useful here. Its damage output isn't that fantastic. I like intimidation and deception if you're the face of the party. Otherwise, take acrobatics so you don't get shoved around as much. Level 7 gives us our evasion feat here. So basically, all dexterity saves will now do half less damage from their max. So if you were to take half damage, you'll now take none. And if you were to take full damage, you'll only take half. Pretty good. Level 8 gives us another feat. At this point, an alert feat, I always like to have this around the mid-game, if at all, not in the first act. I like alerts in Act 1, personally. Level 9 gives us our Tokens of the Departed, though. This is a really fun ability. So when a creature dies within 9 meters of you, you can use your reaction to capture a sliver of its life essence as a soul trinket. You can consume these trinkets to use Whales from the Grave or to speak with the dead. We also have a further ability later on that this can benefit from. So yeah, speak with the dead using a soul trinket. Just keep in mind that this does use your reaction, so that's something you may want to save it for another ability. Level 10 gives us another feat here. So at this point, we can max out our dexterity. If you have already maxed that out, take an increase to your constitution just for better survivability, or you can go at the Savage Attacker feat at this point. Reliable talent will make it so that we're proficient with a skill. The lowest we will roll is a 10. That's just good, flat out good. Into level 12 is our last feat. If we're sticking with level 12, I'll show the level 20 build off as well. You can stay at level 12 if you do prefer. But Savage Attacker, really, you want to have this. Rerolling damage die is a big boost to our damage per round. Level 13, we get ourselves a subclass feature, Ghost Walk. You become like a ghost, taking on an ethereal form. 100 turns can be cast for long rest without expending a soul trinket one time. Pretty nice. I don't always like to use those abilities, but it's a cool subclass thematic ability. Blind Sense, that's from the level 13 to 20 mod, so we can see pretty much anything. And then we also get the Slippery Mind. This is really good, giving us proficiency in wisdom saving throws. Command and hold person, those suck. This will prevent us from getting hit by it. Level 16 gives us another feat. At this point, we can actually go with a Sentinel's kind of funny, giving us a reaction. Although we do have other ways to use a reaction, it gives us an attack. Lucky is always a good one. This just gives us a way of getting out of trouble if we're in a bad position, giving advantage on attack rolls, ability checks, or saving throws. We already got a stat maxed out. Since we are going to level 20, another good choice is the Tough feat. Will give us 2 health points for every level, so it's 40 extra health. Health is a resource. The more health we have, the less we can drop our armor class and protect our teammates, because the rogue's actually kind of tanky, surprisingly. Level 17 gives us the Death's Friend. So when you use the Whales from the Grave, you deal the necrotic damage to both the first and the second creature now. So this is where it gets to be a little bit more area of effect, although it's not like an explosion. You do hit a second target and then the same target again with half that sneak attack value. Additionally, after a long rest, if you do not have any soul trinkets, you gain 1. Good stuff. That's just nice. And then for our level 18, we get the elusive, which doesn't work currently with the level 13 to 20 mod. Our final feat at level 19. This could be even something like Tavern Brawler if you wanted to throw on a thrown weapon and drink a strength potion. Could be kind of funny because it is probably the most powerful you could physically make this. Lucky feat is nice on all builds, but especially rogues. It just feels thematic for it. And ability score improvement on your constitution can also be another good choice. Level 20 just gives us a little bit of health. And I'm using the Enchanted Threads mod here for the outfit. As far as gear options go, I always like the ballast armor on any type of rogue. This is going to be their best choice for armor. This makes enemies vulnerable to piercing, unless they're immune to it, but also goes through that. +2 to initiative rolls. Another nice thing about this is it then lets us use a dagger that we normally would want to maximize by putting in our main hand and put it in the offhand to get a bonus to our armor class and a reaction true strike attack, which is really good, setting up advantage on our next attack. This allows us to get our sneak attacks off more reliably. However, I also like to run the risky ring. There's a couple ways we're going to actually synergize this all together for your teammates to also be strong. So the risky ring gives you advantage on attack rolls. This means we can get our sneak attacks off pretty much anytime, actually. You receive disadvantage on saving throws. That sounds really bad. However, in pretty much every video that I do, I always have disadvantage on saving throws because of the Resonance Stone. So we can actually be a very valuable member of our team by carrying the Resonance Stone, putting on the ballast armor here, and then also running into melee range. So we're going to draw attacks to us. We can drop our armor class a little bit lower. We get a true strike attack, so we reaction attack, but we're setting up our teammates to deal psychic damage, or if they deal piercing damage. So anyone with a bow, if they can do a forced critical hit, and the Aura of Murder, this is going to deal a ton of damage to them. We also are then going to set up anyone with Shadow Blade, which is a very powerful ability. Or if you're also playing the new Soul Knife Rogue that's part of the Book of Rogues, this is going to be enhanced as well. So yeah, the Risky Ring actually works decently well here. And then with the Shadow Cloaked Ring, we get an additional 1d4 of damage against lately or heavily obscured creatures. So that's going to further enhance the damage that we're also getting from Crimson Mischief, which when we have advantage, always +7 damage. And since it's piercing, it's actually +14 damage. So it's +14. This is actually, that 1d4 is actually additional 1d4, doubled it. And then our attack rolls from our die, you can see there, this has a 1d6 +10 +1d4 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 necrotic +1d6 fire +1d4 piercing. So good amount of damage that's all getting doubled. And it, yeah, also adding that 7 damage on top of it. It's pretty crazy. And then we're going to do necrotic damage. Unfortunately, there is no necrotic damage gear in the game. So to make this as strong as possible, we do need to use the ballast armor. I'm also using the Helldusk gloves here to give us additional fire damage. And if we throw things, we're going to get additional necrotic. I did mention throwing is kind of fun. There's actually a much better way to do a throwing build if you want to use the Soul Knife. It's really good for that. I posted a build on that. The Mask of Soul Perception's here to help out with our attack rolls since we can't afford to miss a critical sneak attack. We also could use really the Scabby Pugilist Circuit. There's not really many good rogue hats. In Act 1, however, the Haste Helm is another good one that's useful here. Use whatever cloak. The Stalker Mantle is probably the best option here. And yeah, we got with the Orange Daggers. +3 to initiative from Hellrider Longbow to go first, and then the Amulet of Greater Health. So yeah, you can imagine that our sneak attacks are quite powerful when they add a 1d6 of piercing damage. Mind you, that's a doubled, so it's like 20d6 almost. Yeah, we can hit of upwards 200 damage. Now, we get advantage on anybody. That's the beautiful thing about this. So we can go straight after the target that we want gone right away, like this person here. So we're going to go ahead and sneak attack them because I don't want them. They can do a lot of... Whoa, 122, 14, 4, and 3. That's crazy. Yeah, re-rolling a 10d6 leads to a lot of damage, as you could imagine. So yeah, that's powerful. We can also then grasp its soul, gaining 1 soul trinket here. So that's nice. And then we also have our Whales from the Grave, which will use that soul token to do a 5d6, calling on the departed to drain the life force of your target. So what's nice about this is then we can use this to go after another target and boom, hit them with this. So yeah, you get that free action, 14 damage, not bad. And then I guess I could go ahead with another attack. I should also mention that using the Whispers of the Dead dexterity gives us acrobatics proficiency, so we're less likely to get shoved. Although that's not really a huge downside if we got certain boots on. This also gives us sleight of hand and stealth. Don't forget to turn off your dual wielding, but I'm going to go with an offhand attack, 99% hit chance on this target. That was just enough to hit them and take them out. I don't think this is going to connect and finish them off, but we attack with advantage. So, oh, it worked. Critical hits will happen decently often. And since we attack with advantage, we're constantly getting the +7 damage from the knife. So we're actually doing a respectable amount of damage here. Here's where the lucky points can be nice, because you can reroll attacks to direct them away from you without using your reaction. I didn't use it, so then I got hit with uncanny dodge. So you can be proactive instead of reactive and reduce the damage. All right, we gotta save Shadowheart, so we're gonna sneak attack this target. It's pretty much a guaranteed one-shot whenever you go for a sneak attack. I do not need to roll that crit. We rolled a 39 to hit, so that's absurd. I'll grab the soul here using a reaction, and then got that Whales from the Grave. Unfortunately, no way to boost up the damage of this. It's unfortunate that necrotic damage doesn't have anything good in Baldur's Gate 3, but if you Cull the Weak, you can sometimes take out enemies a little bit easier than normal. But again, offhand attacks are saved to the lower health enemies here, so this is, again, another nice knockout. The great thing about this is our main hand attack is just going to one-shot a lot of enemies with the ballast armor just being so powerful. I want this target gone, so yeah, one-shot it again. I actually got mine broken, so I lost my haste. But we're going to sneak attack this target because they have spells that are going to shut us down. 140, wow. Oh, actually, we hit for 230 piercing damage here. That is crazy. We rolled 89 on a sneak attack. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. 115 plus 115. Yeah, 230 is crazy. This target's pretty high on health, so I don't think I'm going to take him out with a dual offhand attack comboed with the Whales from the Grave. We're going to try. We might get him. No, it wasn't enough. Oh, my services just exploded. Took out that target. They're nice. So yeah, the tough thing is, from range, we aren't really that great. We do have sneak attacks, though, I guess. That's the one nice thing, is we do have advantage at all points. But typically, I guess, yeah, we could use that on this target here to hopefully sneak attack and take them out. I'll roll that crit that I was holding. Nice. That was enough to take them out. Perfect. Yeah, I guess I don't have the Whales from the Grave to take out this target, but I have an offhand attack, which should be more than enough. There we go. Solved it. So that is the Phantom Rogue in Baldur's Gate 3. The Whales from the Grave is really fun. Just enough little damage to sometimes take out extra targets, and the best part is it doesn't use your action or bonus action. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you all in the next video.